by the people. Many of them are holding communist signs, just like they were here in Egypt, or this one in Egypt. This one. Anyway, back to the Cass Sunstein memo. Even though what I said is now proven to be true, using the Sunstein philosophy, I still have to be called a conspiracy theorist. Go back to step 4 of the memo. Government might formally hire credible private parties to engage in counter-speech. Let me ask you this. Another conspiracy theory. I had to go to fbo.gov, which means it's part of the government, .gov, to get this. You won't believe what. This is just the Federal Business Opportunities website from the government. But look at this, what we found. The Department of the Air Force was soliciting software that allows 10 personas per user without being detective, replete with background, history, supporting details, and cyber presences that are technically, culturally, and geographically consistent. And apparently, the software is being used by intelligence to go on jihadist websites and infiltrate their plans. Now, because I believe in the Air Force, I believe this is probably completely legitimate. I trust the military with their technology, mainly because of posse comitatus. It's illegal to use against American citizens, so they do this abroad. Unfortunately, I don't have the same kind of faith in Cass Sunstein. Point is, knowing what we now know about WikiLeaks from this article, secret U.S. document discloses support for protesters. And we got that from WikiLeaks and Anonymous, who hacked into several high-security servers on behalf of WikiLeaks. Maybe we should be a little wary about this kind of program. Are we confident with the government in bed with Google or Cass Sunstein? No, I'm not. I'm not. You sure that none of those... Can you put that back up from fbo.gov? Are you confident that none of these things? Read this, fbo.gov. Read it. It will scare you to the core. You sure that none of that will ever be used against you? It's fascinating that the left in this country is suddenly so unbelievably comfortable. They're back drinking like daiquiris, sipping them on the beach, going, oh, so what? They have this system. No big deal. George Bush could tap what? Doesn't make sense, does it? 2 years ago, they were screaming at the top of their lungs about every move the Bush administration made. I was with you. And unlike the Bush administration, we now have a regulatory czar who has openly disclosed that he says we should use these tactics on the American people. Should you panic? No, no. Should you trust? I don't know if you're stupid. Maybe you should be more like George Washington. Treat government like a fire. As long as you control it, it's fine. Maybe you could just go back to what Reagan said. Trust, yet verify. That would be prudent. But what do I know? I'm a conspiracy theorist. Remember, I'm a conspiracy theorist, even if it turns out that everything I've said is proven true. You know what's great? To see the radical groups out partying like it's 1968. No, I've missed them. I have. And they're dope. It's really great because this week they're planning a lot of great things. Let me show you on March 2nd, which is Wednesday, March 2nd, Save Our Schools. SDS All Out for Education demonstration. This is going to be great because education is a right. They say strike, rally, walk out, occupy, sit in, teach in, leaflet, or table. Make March 2nd a day to remember. Education is a right. Now is the time to fight. Why when we can make love? It's great. SDS is a socialist group that's just returning to its roots. Meanwhile, in Wisconsin, it's a chapter of SDS that is working with the University of Wisconsin students to put together another rally on education. This is the same SDS group that marched through the streets of Wisconsin over the weekend in support of union members. Then on Thursday, March 3rd, we've shown you all the rioting and calls for an Islamic State worldwide, but that's a conspiracy theory. Next week marks a time for the Islamic State to come here to the U.S. Yes, you know that crazy whacked out cleric from England? He's coming here. It's going to be like the Beatles. It's great. His fellow extremists are going to join him in a call for Muslims to establish Sharia law. The group behind the rally, the Islamic Thinker Society. Think. They believe, I love this, that communism is dead. Communism is the future of America. Oh, look. Go to the next slide. I love this next one. They say that, do you have it? Because I have the little, always go low tech. Works every time. Communism is dead. Capitalism is dying. Islam, the only solution. Democracy is hypocrisy, ruled by divine law, not by man-made law. Islam is a solution. Who doesn't think that? Besides, everybody here. Then in another important date is coming up Friday, March 4th. This is when Washington could come to a halt because of budget issues. The House leaders say the $61 billion cuts they voted for are really more like $100 billion. Not sure how that adds up, but what do I know? Their Democratic friends say in the Senate they're only going to cut $41 billion. That's a good thing, and especially since the Senate is taking a break all next week, leaving them just a few days to take up the bill before March 4th, because that's when the stopgap measure that's funding the government expires and the government is shut down. Over the weekend, Rick Santelli said this.
If the country is ever attacked like it was in 9/11, we all respond with a sense of urgency. What's going on balance sheets throughout the country is the same type of attack.
That's weird. Come over here again. I just have to show you because the perfect storm. War on Islam, energy, political. Oh, there it is. The economy. The perfect storm. If you watch this show every night and you keep track, this is the time of the perfect storm. And the economy plays a big part. If you have people hungry, jobless, and without help, that's the way you can get Francis Fox Piven to stop asking, where are all the angry mobs? They'll be there. If somebody could just organize them. Don't worry, a 3-day government shutdown in 1990 only cost between $245 million and $607 million. It's good. Next week. This is, we have some pictures, and this is the pace car yesterday at the Indy 500. Or not the Indy 500, the Daytona 500. And I'm in the car with my kids, and on Friday, I'm going to show you some answers on all the problems that we're dealing with. But really, they go down to this. Show the pictures of the finish line. Before the race, here's my son and daughter as they were signing the finish line before the race. My daughter, Cheyenne, just learned how to write her own name. She wrote, Cheyenne was, the C was up on the black square and the H was somewhere in the white square, but she got all the letters down. The answers really come down to this. Come down to what happened with my son and I. We were watching the race together, and he was just, my daughter was cheering for the blue car because she likes Cheerios, and it had Cheerios on it. My son just liked the yellow car, number 22. And they came whizzing by us, and my son, right before this picture was taken, my son was right next to me, and he had his arm around my neck like this. And he started screaming, 22, 22. I wasn't even thinking about the race. And he looked at me and he said, Dad, this is the best. Not thinking about the race, but thinking like a dad, I said, yes, it is. Yes, it is. That is the essence of the answer. Our families and knowing what is important. Don't miss Friday's show. we're going to talk a little bit about this. That leaders don't panic. They don't. You have to be a leader because the perfect storm is here. But there is an answer. Leaders don't panic. They prepare. They know what they believe in. They know the truth about their family. And they prepare one other thing that now, believe it or not, could send you to jail in some countries. We'll tell you about that tomorrow. Remember, if you're a leader, prepare. Show others the way out. From New York, good night, America.